In regards to our participation in the American political system as Christians, the Bible says, blessed is the nation to whom God is the Lord, right? And also in James it says, now to the one who knows to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. Oftentimes we're given the opportunity to show up at the polls and vote. And we have the opportunity to vote for people who are going to protect unborn life. We have the opportunity to vote for people who are going to protect young children from maniacs who are going after them to mutilate them in ways that they may never recover. Right. Yet you have many folks who claim to be Christian, but they will not vote. They want to sit on the sidelines while the lives of many are at stake, while the lives of the young and the unborn are at stake. In Proverbs it says to deliver those drawn for death. And if you say we didn't know, will not he who created the heart know that you refuse to come forth? So my question is, when there's an election like the one in Ohio at stake, where they're talking about putting abortion on the state constitution as a constitutional right, and it's likely to be very hard to regulate it in any way if it's a constitutional right, would it be a sin to stand by and refuse to vote?
The easiest or the shortest answer to say that is sin is not the idea of voting or not voting. Sin is what makes a person vote or not vote. I don't know that we necessarily have time to really unpack the concept of sin on a podcast like this, but it's deeper than just the effect, the actual effect. It would not be encouraged by the church to vote for anything that Christ is opposed to. But as we know in the current political sphere, there's no way you can vote for something without voting for something that Jesus Christ is against. That's just, no matter how we're voting right now, all politicians are going to be for something that Jesus is for and against something that Jesus is against. And so there's really no way of doing that. And I'm not saying that to stay safe on your podcast. I'm saying that because that's the truth. The truth is that there's not one political structure right now or political party right now that can claim that they're answering for Christ or that they're speaking on behalf of the Lord with regards to a full party agenda on specific things. Yeah, without question, we have to take care of our unborn children. Without question, we need to try to reduce the unnecessary killing of these innocent children. I mean, abortion is not okay. And even if it's done, the church does not, like we were talking about before, even if somebody is really on that road, we go out and we try to pull them back as much as we can, because we realize that every person needs to be treated as a sheep of Christ, and he's the shepherd. So voting, not voting you'll never hear me as a priest telling people to stay home from voting. You'll never hear me say that. But I also don't reduce voting down to one item, because if you're voting on what the taxes and the economy, I don't think Jesus Christ cares about that stuff. I just don't. That's not my opinion of what Jesus Christ cares about. He does care about the gift of the earth that he's given us. He does care about the unborn children. He does care about us making sure that people are not being that the marriage that he instituted on this earth is being treated appropriately, and he does care about individuals that are taking each other's lives even after the womb. He does care about the aged that their lives are being threatened because it's when it deals with medical procedures and things like this. And you look at nursing homes, it's sometimes cheaper to euthanize someone than it is to keep them alive. He cares about all of those things, and all of those things, unfortunately, are on the ballot on both sides of this, and not one party is getting it right. And so that's the distressing thing, is that we can't come together and really advocate for specific and just generic human lives. We just can't do it without getting messed up in this thing. So every time somebody votes, somebody, I heard somebody say in one of my parishes, I'm not going to say which one, they heard that somebody was going to vote a certain party. Like, well, you're voting for all of these, and listed like 5 ugly things that they're voting for. I'm like, but no, and I heard the other person say, no, that's not what I'm voting for. But your specific question was about voting or not voting. No. So to get back to your original question, your vote, we should vote. On a Christian level, we should vote. But even on a political level, just out of respect to all the countries that don't have a vote, I believe that we should be voting. And I point this way because there's an icon of Christ on a stained glass window. He's our guide. He needs to be our guide, always.
I understand that answer. I understand what you're saying. One day when I stand before the judgment seat of Christ, I want to be able to tell Christ, I did all I could to protect the people you love most, and I voted every single way I could to protect them. And
yeah,
I understand that answer.